So we are going down the highway, and here I see Heather running to a bush.
Mm-hmm.
And
Nothing
so,
to see
and
here.
this is a
Nothing
busy street.
to
She
see
does not
here, y'all.
realize.
Hey guys, welcome back to the AA Skin Babes Pod. I'm your host, Lena, licensed esthetician, and with me today is Heather.
I'm Heather Taylor, nurse injector.
We have Kristen back.
Hello, Kristen with Amazingly Ageless. I am a licensed esthetician.
And then we have a new face with us again, and this is Halie.
Hello, I'm Halie Harvey. I'm an aesthetic nurse injector at Rajnir Medical Spa in Overland Park.
So, I'm going to kind of lean back on this conversation. This is going to be you girls because they did something really exciting over the weekend. Y'all took a trip. Kristen got out of Missouri for a weekend.
She
It was
did.
awesome.
I'm so proud of her.
She doesn't get out of like the Branson area very
Uh-huh.
often. If she's leaving, she's going to Branson.
Yeah.
And I think she's been out of Missouri for like one time.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
like it.
Since I was showing horses, yeah.
But you guys took an awesome trip, and I want to hear all about it because I didn't get to go.
Okay. Heather,
So-
tell her where we were at.
Yeah, so we were given the opportunity from MERS and Synergy, the companies care. We use them for injectables. We were given the opportunity to go to Austin, Texas this weekend. We left on Thursday and got back yesterday, Sunday,
Uh-huh.
and had an amazing, amazing trip. We met Halie there.
Yes. It's only
Um,
been like less than 48 hours
I
since
we
I've
already
been
miss
with you
each
guys,
other.
and I missed you
know.
guys
we
already.
had so much fun.
Yes.
It was so much fun. All the things that we learned just to incorporate in business, and oh my gosh.
Well, it was an amazing conference. I mean, some conferences, you just go and, there's a few speakers. Here,
Yeah.
we learned so
So much.
much and how to bring it back and incorporate it into our med
Yeah.
spas. And the fun thing is we got to be with, what they say, there's 380 other
Around, yeah.
professionals around
Right.
the U.S. That are in the same industry as we are.
Yeah.
And I think I was probably the one esthetician that was there and not being
There
an
was a few,
injector.
yeah.
But for me, because we work so closely together, for me, there was just so much information that I didn't know.
Mhm.
And just talking to, some of the big names in the industry.
Oh my gosh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. I mean, these professionals were top of the line.
Yes.
they have been
They're the pioneers.
They are,
of
and just the
aesthetics, yeah.
research of it all, behind it all,
Mhm.
and I was blown away the whole trip. Sometimes, like you said, in conferences, there will be speakers that are not the most engaging, or you just are kind of like, okay, this is kind of boring.
No,
it
it
was
was
not like that with
top-notch.
any of them.
Yeah.
I mean, every single speaker was amazing.
Mhm.
And I think, okay, Heather, what was your biggest takeaway from it?
Oh my goodness. I think there was a lot. There was actually a lot. But I think one of the biggest things, and we will get into this too, was just the GLP-1 clients
Yes.
and how,
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, I was kind of in the mindset where let's start this filler, Botox, Xeomin journey, maybe when you're done
Yeah.
losing the weight so we can assess and see where you're left, basically, because we
Yeah.
talked before about how with those weight loss medications, people lose the fat and
Or what they call Ozempic
fullness.
face.
Right, the Ozempic face,
Mhm.
and they lose that fat and fullness in their face, and it tends to make them look older.
Yeah.
And so then, we're going to go in there with filler and try to get them back to where they were or as close to it. But I would always tend to wait until they were at their ending point with their weight and then try to fix
I
it.
would
But
agree. I did the same.
learned, and I just learned how important it is to start that journey when they start that medication, and that was a huge takeaway. There were so many. But
so
that
many.
was
That's
a
one,
huge
because that's
one.
where aesthetics is right now.
Exactly.
GLP-1 is the latest,
Yep.
greatest thing that
Yeah.
people are doing. And it starts in that consultation when
Mhm.
they are consulting about weight loss management and having that conversation of like, hey, your face is going to change during this process.
Right.
It may change a little bit. It may change a lot. It depends on how much weight you're going to lose.
Mhm.
And us as nurse injectors, we can support them
Right.
and say, hey, we can get on this early. We can do some bio-stimulators, some Xeomin to help the transition be
Well,
a little
and
easier if they
right.
lose,
Yeah.
50 pounds.
And
And I
then getting them on a good treatment plan,
Yeah.
with skincare, like your
Mhm.
skin is going to change during all of these changes in your body.
Yeah.
And maybe what you were using before isn't going to be what's going to work for you afterwards or during.
Mhm.
And having, regular facials and things that are going to keep the integrity of the skin good,
Yeah.
so that maybe it can kind of bounce back a little bit too after
Well,
all
and
of
I
that.
think that Haley and I, we were both in our science geek state whenever
Nerd
Dr.
babes. Yeah.
Kate Goldie was on, and
Yes.
she is
They
the
flew her from the UK.
yeah, they threw
Yes.
her from the UK, and she is
She was amazing.
a top regenerative aesthetic specialist, and she's the way that she explained what that science is was
Mhm.
just amazing. It's where you're going in and you're when you're using GLP-1s or as you're aging, your skin is like a little biosphere. And when you start
Mhm.
taking components out of that biosphere, then it cannot regenerate like it needs to be.
Mhm.
And so, in comparison to like what was
She said an ecosystem.
like an
Right.
ecosystem.
So great
Mhm.
analogy when it comes to like farmland.
Yeah.
Let's
Uh-huh.
take like dead farmland that hasn't had any nutrient
Right.
in a long time and
Which was kind of like your collagen 3
Yes.
is what she
Uh-huh.
said, would
Yep.
be kind of that stagnant farm ground where nothing's really super viable gonna come from
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then with the process of biostimulators and whatnot, taking
Mhm.
it from a collagen 3 to a collagen 1 and the
Mhm.
difference.
Yes, and that's what's
Yeah, that
that's
analogy
where
was
working
great.
with your
Yes.
aesthetics part of it, along with your injection part of it, and trying to come up with a treatment series because injections alone isn't going
It's
to
Mhm.
yeah. It's so you're
Yeah.
going to look at
Mhm.
stacking those different types of treatments, not doing it until after you get done losing your weight because
Right.
that elasticity is always the loss is already there,
Mhm.
and so you can't rebuild on something that's not there anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think
she honed in with that
yes,
ecosystem, skin to bone.
Yeah.
Now, me as a nurse injector, of course, like I want to talk about the skin as much as I can
Uh-huh.
with
Sure.
my scope of practice.
Mhm.
But us as a team,
uh-huh.
as a nurse injector and an esthetician, just helping educate them as much as possible
Yeah.
when it comes to wearing your SPF, doing your medical grade skincare at home. You need to come in and do some microneedling to
Mhm.
stimulate that collagen. You also need to come in and do the injectables
Right.
and having all of those, this, and this to have that
Yeah.
result.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was what do you think was your favorite takeaway from it, would
I
you
mean, I
say?
loved Dr. Kate Goldie.
Yes, yeah.
That
She was
was huge.
amazing.
Just the analogies,
Yeah.
putting it into perspective, that education. Just to piggyback off of what you said with the biostimulators, people come in and they just say, I want filler
Mhm.
or fill my face.
Mhm.
And we're like, okay, we're more conservative.
Right.
And I think that's where aesthetics is going,
Mhm.
is people are going to do less and less filler. We're
Right.
not wanting to look pillow-faced or overdone. People want to look undetected.
Right.
Or I loved what Dr. Kate Goldie said. She said, we can't slow the aging process down.
Mhm.
We cannot anti-age. We
Right.
are all going to age,
Right.
but we can age better.
It's
Yeah.
better.
And so biostimulators, that is
It's
going to
where it's
help us
headed.
age better.
Mhm.
So starting early, I'm in my early 30s,
Mhm.
and we're supposed to start now.
Yeah.
And
Don't wait until you're my age.
I know I've got so many patients that are like, I want to look like you.
Yeah.
And I say, okay, well, thank you. I love that. But they're like, well, what do you do? I'm like, I do everything.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I do my chemical peels.
Yeah.
I do my microneedling. I do injectables. No, you don't. You're too young. You don't need it. Your face looks so youthful.
Mhm.
And it's like, that's the whole key
Right.
is early intervention.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
I'm in my early 30s. I am in that stage or phase where you should be starting, or at
Mhm.
least conservatively starting to where we can age better.
Right. And like
Mhm.
I have cheek filler and clients will be like, Well, I didn't know. You can't. That's exactly why
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
supposed
wanna
to be
know.
like
Yes,
that.
it's
You're
supposed
not,
to be
it's not supposed to be
undetected.
detected. Right.
I don't want, Miss Susie Q, who I've been injecting, to go down to the Red Door Grill and be, her lips walk in before she does, and people be like, "Oh, Halie down the street did this."
Yeah, you're like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
No, I
No?
want people to look, "Oh, Heather, you look really refreshed and rested. Like, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
And it's that undetectable.
And that was another thing too with the conference, was that it was really focusing on people starting earlier.
Yes.
Like that 27 to 34-year-old range.
Mhm.
They're really starting.
Yeah, I feel like I'm
earlier.
going to have more conversations,
Mhm.
and consultations where people come in and
Talk
they're
more
like, yeah,
and-
like where to
and
start?
come
Where
up with
should
a-
I start?
Coming up with a plan beforehand
Yeah.
instead of
Yes.
waiting until the last minute and saying, okay, well, we need to do this. We should have been doing this at the beginning.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I
And
think
that
that's
was-
the biggest, one of our biggest take from it. Now,
Yeah.
what was some of the other fun stuff?
Oh my
The
gosh.
food was
As
absolutely
an outsider
amazing.
here that didn't get to go, I want to know.
We were
I wanna see if
sending
Mom cut
videos
loose.
to Lena, and she was like, "What are
Now,
you doing?"
I have been to other events.
Uh-huh.
I went to Colorado in the fall time, and they did a great job.
Mhm.
MERS Aesthetics.
Oh my gosh.
They hit the head on this from,
They went over and
giving
above.
everyone a custom hat
Uh-huh.
to, little Yetis, to
Uh-huh.
swag bags, to products.
The food
The
was
food,
amazing.
the drinks.
And bangers. Tell them about
Oh,
bangers.
yeah.
Oh,
So
my gosh,
Rain came
yes.
in and we were going to have a private band or a show. So we were going to leave our hotel, have an event at Bangers, and they brought bangers to us.
Because they said,
Brought
I
us
guess on the
everything.
outskirts there was some tornado warnings, and they didn't
Mhm.
really want us out walking and being out in that. So they brought the venue to
The
us.
band to us.
The
and-
band,
mhm.
the
And set it up within a couple hours.
yes,
Yep.
the bar,
Had the open bars. They had
dancing
two line
lessons.
dancing
Yes.
instructors.
Yes.
And it was just such a good time.
Oh my gosh.
So top notch event.
And our rooms were great, and they were putting little gifts in our
Gorgeous.
rooms. We'd come
Yes.
home,
Have
or
little
we'd come home.
snacks.
We'd come
Advil.
back, and we'd have snacks, and it was
Mhm.
just it was great. And I think that we need to tell Cassie thank you
Oh my
for being our
gosh.
little mother while
Oh,
we were there. She
yes.
was amazing.
Shout out to Tony G.
Yes.
Our Synergy
Tony.
Midwest rep.
Yes.
Thank you.
He's
I think that they
amazing.
need us to come to the
Yeah.
podcast next year
Yeah,
during
yeah.
the convention.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Yeah.
That
No,
would
it
be
was
fun.
it was amazing. Kristen and I had rooms that were right next to each other, so we could open the door in
Oh,
between us and kind of go back
nice.
and forth. And
I know. I got to see. That's the one thing I got to see the rooms because I got FaceTimed all the time.
they were
We
so
did. We really
nice.
did.
But she came in and she's like holding this bag up, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, they came in while I was gone and gave us this bag." And I'm like, "I didn't get a bag," but then I looked at it, she's like, "It's right there," and it was just
Mhm.
like a little
Oh,
nightcap.
those little
and
details that
And
they
we
didn't
absolutely
miss.
Yes.
made our daughters jealous. Tell her where we went Saturday
Oh
night.
my gosh. So Saturday, one of the reps down there came up to us.
Cassie,
Cassie,
thank
she was
you.
amazing. She came up to us and she was like, "Hey, do you guys have plans tonight?" And I'm thinking, well, we're just going to be
Well,
here.
we're used
I
to
don't
going
know.
to bed at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
And she said, "Well, I have 2 extra tickets to the iHeart Music
I
Festival."
know. The funny thing about this is they called me and told me, and I was like, "You're kidding. You're
We were like,
kidding."
"Why?
And
What
Mom's
is
like,
it?"
"It's just a concert." I said, "No, it's not. It is not just a concert."
No, it was not. It was amazing.
And then Heather and I found out, Rascal Flatts was going to be there, Brooks and Dunn.
Uh-huh.
And we're like,
You saw
That's
Bailey
from-
Zimmerman.
Bailey
I'm so
Zimmerman,
jealous.
generation. We
Megan
know these guys.
Maroney,
yes.
Sam
I'm so
Hunt.
jealous. I had
Oh
to
my
leave
gosh.
early. I left
Yeah,
Saturday
we know.
night.
We were so disappointed. But
I
we were
got-
shooting her videos
I missed
too.
my babies, so I got home a little early, but I would have
Yes.
loved
Yes.
to.
Oh my gosh, we had so much fun. So much fun.
I quit Snapchatting you.
Oh,
and Mom
yeah.
sent
And
me
then do we
videos
need
of
to
Bailey
tell what
Zimmerman.
happened on our walk
Like,
back
no.
to the motel? Okay, this is a Missouri girl
This
for
is
you.
what I should have gotten
Motel.
Snapchats
Our
of. No one
hotel,
sent me
hotel.
Snapchats of this.
Well,
and
Are
Kristen
you
needs
gonna
to stop
Snapchat
calling
of
it
it?
a motel.
I saw
no,
it.
I
I saw it.
didn't.
Oh,
The
you must have
nicest
it.
But I
hotel
have to
in
tell you what
Austin.
Heather did.
We don't need video evidence
Out of
any
all the
of
things they
this.
Snapchatted me, this is the one thing they didn't. Mom did not video.
Oh my
We
gosh.
had to walk a mile or so to find our Uber for the after the concert. Well, Heather had to go potty. And being from Missouri, it is no big deal. We squat anywhere.
Yeah.
We're little country girls. It's no big deal.
yeah.
And so we are going down the highway,
Ay,
and
ay, ay.
here I see Heather running to a bush.
Mhm.
And
Nothing to see
and
here.
this is a
Nothing
busy
to
street.
see
She
here,
didn't
y'all.
realize that behind her was a 4-way stop.
Oh.
And so she tinkles in the bush.
I did.
Yeah.
I sure did. And it was not pretty. I'm just gonna say it wasn't pretty.
All
There
y'all
was like
picturing
these
that at
all
home.
these plants
you know
and
the
stuff
saying in
around me.
Austin.
And
You know what they say in Austin?
what's that?
They say keep Austin weird.
Oh,
We did.
yeah, we
Yeah.
sure
Keep it
did.
weird, Austin,
Yeah.
or
And
what's
then
the
when-
saying?
I don't know, but
Something like that.
I mean, I was just going back to the Vegas, like
Yeah.
what happens in Austin stays
Stays
in
in
Austin.
Austin, yes.
But
until we
apparently
did-
it doesn't all stay in Austin.
Keep Austin weird.
That's because we Snapchatted it to Lena.
yes.
I quit replying when I saw Bailey Zimmerman. I'm out. And you
Yeah.
called it a concert.
My girls were
concert.
really upset too.
Then she
They were
keeps
like,
calling me and she's like, I'm back at the motel. I said, Kristen, this is not a motel. This is a hotel
Hotel.
of hotels.
I mean, and it
It's
was
fancy.
gorgeous.
So Heather and I
Beautiful.
were a little bit out of our league, but we ran with it and we
You
blended.
did.
We rocked
did.
it.
Us 3 girls, we had a blast.
We
Yes.
did.
Sounds
We had
like y'all
so
made
Now
a
much
Haley's
splash.
part of our group.
I know. I feel like
I know.
I'm gonna have like regression
I know.
when I'm not with you guys.
I'm still
no,
disappointed
this
we
is gonna be a
didn't jump on the
lifelong
scooters.
connection. This will be a
Yes.
lifelong friendship.
And I knew Tony, like when he texted me and he was like, hey, there's another girl like in the area, one of my other accounts that's going, but she's going by herself. Would you kind of let her? And he was
Come
like,
on in.
you'll love her. And I'm like, sure. But
Uh-huh.
like I'm like, we love you.
and I appreciate it so
Yeah.
much because you guys kind of feel like family to me.
Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
We spent the whole weekend together. We had a
Yeah.
blast. It was so
Mhm.
fun. So fun. I cannot thank them enough for
The
giving us that
Yeah,
opportunity.
it was amazing
sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Any more? You guys have any more stories on that?
I think
I
that's,
mean-
there's more stories.
I feel like there's more, but we don't want to talk about
there's
it.
more. We've
Yes.
got
What happens in
We
Austin
were
stays in
fine.
Austin.
Everything was
Bye.
fine.
yes. So we can't tell those other stories on here.
No.
Listen, we had a good time.
Yes, it was.
Sounds like it was fun.
We came
It was
back alive.
knowledgeable.
Educational,
Everything. It was
fun.
educational and fun.
And I think we just met so many wonderful people that
Yes.
we would have never had the opportunity to meet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's great.
Mhm.
They were so nice. When you can walk up to the owner of the
Hospitality.
company
Yeah,
and
the
just say, "Hey, you
CEO
guys,
and be like, yeah,
let's
Mhm.
talk about some of the great things you guys are doing."
yeah.
Oh, it's just proof that their company is just superior.
Oh my goodness,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it just over the top. I
Mhm.
can't. I have no other words. It
Okay,
was
so
completely
can
over
we
the
please
top.
get an invite next year?
Yes,
I put it out there to Tony.
Tony,
Yeah,
we
I put
need
it out there
we
to
need an
Tony.
invite next year.
Mhm.
We
Can we
Adult
add a
team.
couple more tickets so
I
I can go
know.
this
I
time?
know.
I
Yeah,
got
they
to
can-
experience it from home.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I got
we
all
tried
the
to keep
Snapchats,
you.
all the videos.
Yeah, some of the most of the videos.
I love
think.
Texas.
Yeah, I know it was so fun. Oh my gosh, and we didn't even get to do like.
Yeah, we didn't get to go out, but
Oh,
it
I
doesn't really
heard-
matter.
No,
They
hold
had
on.
so much
Oh,
stuff
geez.
there.
I heard
Oh gosh.
there was a nice little rope and dummy. How many people caught the rope and dummy?
Oh, Kristen
What?
rocked it. She had to tell them. She was like, "Listen, you don't
I
have this
don't-
set up right. Like you need to do this, and this. Let me show you how it's done." And
That's
You're
'cause my
welcome for
grand-
teaching you how to rope.
My grandchildren taught me
Yes.
how to rope, and
Mhm.
they made sure that I knew what I was doing.
yeah,
I
So
can't
you,
look
you
stupid.
fit right in there.
yeah.
Of course, that may be after a couple of beers that we had beforehand, but
Mhm.
still.
But she listen.
I
she
always-
was like,
There's
"Get
two
aside."
things. I always play pool better and I rope better with a couple beers.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
You will always rope
I
better
know.
with a couple
I mean, we
beers.
didn't do our little line dancing. We were like, we need shots for that.
I know. We
We
were
were
like,
too
we're
old
not
for
at that
shots.
level
Jump up on the
yet.
table.
No. Yeah, I was like, Pony by Genuine.
Oh, you did say that.
That brings my alter ego out. And then my husband is like,
We
I
need to take
know.
Jared with us next year too. He'd have a
Yes.
blast.
yes.
He's like, "Yep."
Yep. He
Sign
said,
me
"Yep, I'll
up."
go."
We had
It's
so much fun. Yeah, I
It's
can't wait.
jam-packed of so much stuff.
Yes. Yep.
Mhm.
I mean, from the time we got there until the time we left, it was just constant,
Mhm.
just amazement. So,
Okay, Lena's looking at her
Yay.
timer. I
I
think
was
we're.
gonna say, all right, guys, that is about all the time we have for this episode today. Thank you, Heather, Kristen, and Haley for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for sharing your experience. Everyone else gets to know now. I got to know because I got Snapchats the whole freaking weekend long.
Mhm.
And so did my husband.
Oh yeah, we couldn't get her to
So
answer.
did
us.
we
my
won't,
husband.
we won't
We
say
start
the things
snapping.
that your
I know.
husband
What did
was
he call
saying,
us?
though. We
He
will.
call us his hose.
Yes, his
Kristen,
host, his
you were
Snapchat
supposed to
host.
say
He's
Snapchat
not,
host.
he's not
Snapchat host.
ashamed. If he said it, he said it.
Yes.
He ain't gonna step back and say he didn't do it.
Yeah.
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 Poor Colin. He's always at the end of the butt of all our jokes.
Oh no, don't worry. You are but of his jokes too.
Yeah.
My mother and my husband have a very fun relationship.
Yeah.
It's really
They think very highly of each
Yes.
other.
Yes.
Which is
That's how it
great.
should be. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. Which
all
is
right.
great.
Well, we will see you guys next week. We have a lot of stuff planned for this month. Really good conversation. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notifications for our podcasts, our YouTube video, because we have a lot of very great information coming out this month. We also now have a new merch with us. So we have those cups that you saw, I think, last week or the week before. We have those cups now for sale online. There's a link in the description, but you better hurry because they might even be sold out by the time this episode is aired. So hurry up, go get them. We will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.